Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times with Scar here, and welcome back to Scarland, a land where we take survival building to the extreme, and we're continuing our renovations of the Scarland transportation system. And in today's episode, we're going to start something pretty darn cool, and that is a treehouse to house our newest station for our tree platform here in our original home in Scarland. And hello there, Mr. Dog. And let's head over here and take a look at what we've got. So, as you kind of remember, this area was kind of opened, and I decided to move some of these platforms back just ever so slightly right here and over there. And then, as you can see, we have this beautiful little shape designed and ready to go. So as you can see, eventually this will be the entrance to in and out of the station down below. We'll do something fancy and make this all look nice eventually. And then, of course, this is where we'll have our mechanisms of, you know, departure and retrieval and all of those good things. So we need to plan out our tree. One thing we have to contend with is there's a giant tree next to it, but I think this will look pretty cool, and I think we're gonna really like kind of this design. So as you can see, I've got kind of a mixture of the jungle and the oak. So we're gonna kind of mix those together. We're gonna start with a base of jungle and then incorporate a bit of oak as we move along. So I haven't built a tree in a very long time, and I'm kind of excited about it. So where we're gonna start is down here. We're just gonna slowly kind of make a nice little kind of cylinder shape. And then from there, we'll just slowly but surely just add more and more detail upon it. So I think it'll be really, really super awesome. There we go. And I just wanna get kind of a really basic shape built out here. And yeah, it'll be a little bit difficult to really make sure we get all of the station components in. So that's why I'm just going really slow by making sure we have a really nice base set up so that this all kind of flows and works together in the right way. So as you can see, we're just slowly just kind of haphazardly making kind of a circle. We're not trying to make anything precise like a giant box or a, you know, a perfect circle or anything along those lines. Just something organic that's covering up the station. That's kind of our goal here. So let me just move these pieces over here and then, you know, get rid of scar mistakes and all those good things. Since we, ooh, hello. So this is where we're going to start to need to be a little more precise and a little less random. So up here, let me move back just a smidge. As you can see, we want to bring the station or the station track down here. And then I want this wall of wood to kind of start about, I think we're actually pretty good. I think this will be good. This will be good. Then I'm going to go over one block here and then jump down, and we can just kind of form up this like that. And yeah, I think this is coming out pretty nice. So as you can see, this will allow us to have lots of room within the station for all the mechanisms, my friends, all the mechanisms we can dream of. And I think that'll be really cool. One thing we do need to think about here, I think that'll be good right there. One thing we do need to think about is let me put this right here just to give myself something to put my blocks down on. The bottom of the structure is very wide, kind of unnatural towards a tree. You know, a tree's not really this wide, or at least this tree that we're kind of working with. We want it to be somewhat realistic. So that's kind of our goal. And this wide of a tree would be gigantic. This is like almost bigger than the mother tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it really skinny fast. So as it comes up here, we're going to skinny it up really quick. Now that's going to give that possibly a very unrealistic look. So to counter that thing, I am going to cover up a lot of the lower level of this tree. So a lot of the lower level, I'm just kind of lining this up, making sure it's somewhat working out here. Yeah, I think that'll look really good. So we're going to cover up quite a bit of it with leaves. So when we do encounter things that are kind of unrealistic or don't kind of flow or look right, we can always come back and refine it by putting leaves all over the bottom so we don't really see the unsightly aspects of the tree. So as you can see, we're just kind of building this up and getting this into the right orientation. And, you know, if you're building a tree or you're looking for inspiration, this is kind of just a really basic start to it. You just kind of want to build up some walls. And then from there, we're going to start to get this just a little bit higher. I want this back side to be a little bit higher because this is where we're going to start to work first. There we go. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start to put a couple more blocks here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to place a couple dirt blocks. And as you can see, we're just going to start to place a couple blocks inward like that. And that's going to start to bring in the tree a little bit at the top, start to give it that little bit more of a realistic feel. So what we're going to do is we're going to curve it up, and then we're going to angle it outward. So it's kind of, Believe me, this will work eventually. Like this will. Believe me. We got this. Together we're gonna do great things. All right, I'm gonna place that right there. Cut that piece in there, and we're gonna bring this up just a little bit higher. So we're bringing these about two to 3 blocks upwards before we start another transition. Before the invention of the sideways block like that, this was a lot easier. This was much easier. When we built the mother tree, things were easier. We had unlimited use of the bone meal, so if we just clicked the bone meal, the tree would instantly grow. So that was a thing. We don't have that options anymore, unfortunately. So building these kind of trees is a little bit more difficult, but we got this. This is going to be easy. There we go. And then as you can see, we're slowly kind of curving those together. Let me jump over here and give you guys a good perspective. So as you can see, we're just going to slowly bring these up, move them in, bring them up, move them in. And yeah, so let me continue to do that, and I'll catch you in a minute. And welcome back. So as you can see, we're working on getting this angled upwards. So over there, we're just slowly but surely just bringing it up and up and up, stepping it up. One area we need to work on is making the enclosing aspect of the doors. So these are kind of the areas where the minecart kind of cruises through to get into the station. So we're just kind of working on this. We're trying to make sure we get something that looks nice and open. There we go. So just kind of blocking in these areas and getting them set so that this is kind of officially the entrance. So there we go, looking good. And then we can kind of come over here and then, add a little bit of supporting structure along there, jump on down. Now, like we talked about many times before, is we're trying to make sure that we can get this thing quite a bit skinnier at this point of the build. So we want these things to come in quite a bit. So bring these pieces in. As we know, this part down here is kind of wide. So my idea is to cover a lot of that up down there with a canopy of leaves, because the base of the tree is just gigantic to fit the station and everything. So it's all kind of a balancing act of a realism and trying to be functional at the same time. There we go. Sometimes I do a little more function over style. And that's my question for you is, when you're building Minecraft, creations and things, are you function over style? So what are you, or are you style all the way? I always joked that I was kind of like the Apple product of Minecraft. A little more style than function, just a little bit, just a little bit. But anyway, there we go. So as you can see, let's jump down here and just see how we're doing. So as you can see how we kind of block that in. So then what we can do now is just start to bring these pieces upwards. And yeah, this is pretty good. So I think that's a good start for getting our station set up so that we can have our minecart come in here relatively easy. And yeah, I'll see you in a couple more minutes. Something great happened here, and that is we've got a bit of a root structure starting across here. This is kind of like what Bob Ross would call a happy little accident. As you can see, this root structure has started to appear along here, and we can take advantage of that to try to give the tree a little bit more dimensionality, which is really great. Another thing I'm going to do is incorporate a little more oak wood into the tree to kind of break up all of this kind of, single pattern of the jungle wood. So let's jump up here a little bit. And as you can see, we have quite a bit of a distance now from here. All that down there, we want to cover up eventually with a lot of foliage, and I think that'll look really nice. So we're making a lot of progress. So we're continuing to bring this up just a little bit higher, and then we're taking this branch to about here, and then we can start to take, some of these ones just a little bit higher. And it's all trial and error, just carve in, carve out, move in, move out, just little bits here and there, and eventually you'll start to see some great progress on your tree. And welcome back. And as you can see, we've got a pretty cool view up here. I love the forest, the dense, jungle forest that we have throughout. And there's our tree down there looking super fancy. So let's dive on down here. And our feather fallen has protected us once again. And let's clear that out of there. Oh, well, we'll get that out eventually. But as you can see, we are starting. Oh, my. We have a witch alert. We've got a witch. And of course, the dogs are doing nothing to protect us. As you can see, we're starting to bring this up a little bit more, and we've brought this pretty high, and now we're going to start working on our first branch. So our first branch is starting to be angled this way. So we're going to start bringing these pieces higher and higher. There we go. So we're going to get the, oh my gosh, it's Bob and Monica the witch colluding down there. Look at them. Oh, they're planning something devious, I can tell. Oh my. That's very scary. Anyway. Man, I don't even know. I don't even feel safe in my own world anymore with that colluding down there. There's something going on. There's some devious plots being taken place. Let me know what they're planning. Let me know. Like, give me a backstory. What do you think they're planning right now? What kind of devious plots? Oh boy, that is kind of scary actually. Okay, we're looking good so far. We're looking good. I would like to thicken this up just a smidge. So bring these pieces up just ever so slightly. There we go, looking good, looking good. And then bring this up here a little more. And then I think what we can do is kind of angle this to here, bring this up 2 more blocks. Let's cut back down 1 here and then push this down. Bring this up, let's bring that up to there. And then let's bring this to here, beautiful. And we'll cut back down here. Oh my, there they are. Look at him, he's looking at my scaffolding. Anyway, I think that's actually looking pretty good. Let's bring that up to here and there, and that's looking good. Okay, let's jump over here and look at this side. So these branches over here are going to start to kind of go a little this way and a little that way, and not really any one particular way. Most of this is going to be covered up with just plain old branches and leaves and all that good stuff. So we can just kind of continue to bring those together a little bit. Right here, I feel like this spot could actually potentially be kind of a cool branch. These things are just super small. Like that's the main branch. Like that's what really defines the tree. Over here, what we could do is back this one off just ever so slightly. And this stuff's super easy and creative. I've built many trees. I've actually only built like on camera. I'm thinking only 1 actual tree, and that's the mother tree, but I've built so many of these trees for servers and stuff. It's crazy because it feels like I've made a million of these, but really I only have like 1 of them to show for it on my channel. But I've built probably maybe 5 or more of these kind of like big trees for different servers and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, let's take a look at what we've got. Let's get our sword out and ready because, oh, she doesn't see us. Ah, surprise. There we go. Anyway, as you can see, the branch is looking good. This one is where we want to move. Excuse me, spider. I'm busy right now. As you can see, I want to take this one and I want to angle it straight this way. Okay, so we're going straight up that way, and then that one that way. Then we create a nice root system moving this way, and it'll add a bunch of new reels into that, and I think that'll look really nice. Yeah, there we go, my friends. We're starting to get there. And then we'll start covering this up with leaves, and this thing's going to start to look more and more like a tree every second, every new block. All right, and welcome back. And as you can see, we're starting to get somewhere. We've got a tree poking out of the canopy of leaves. But what I want to work on now is the interior, getting the interior settled and ready to go. So the first thing we need to do is grab out some oak wood, and let's jump down here. And we're just making the pit. So this is the pit, the basement of the structure, where all the redstone will be housed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay down a nice floor of oak down here, and this will give us a great start in getting the interior all set up and ready to go. And there we go. We've got the pit all complete and ready to go for our redstone infrastructure. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scaffold on up to the top here, and we're going to work on a ceiling. So when you think of a ceiling for the interior of a tree, it took me a little while. So there's a couple ideas you can go with. You can go with a fancy ceiling, something with a lot of detail and decorative things that's similar to what we've done with the mother tree, or you can do kind of a natural interior, and that's what we're going to do for this particular project. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start to make what this tree would kind of look like in an interior with a soft wood. So as you can see, this is the bark of the tree and all that good stuff. But the interior of the wood of a tree, is in the soft, interior of wood. So that's what we're going to try to do. And we're going to do this with a variety of materials here. And we're just going to slowly but surely kind of fill in all these details along here. And I think you guys are going to really like this once we get it all done. A couple other things we can do, open up this a little bit, and we can insert a little bit of the jungle wood. So we can put a little jungle wood action in there, looking super fancy like that. There we go. And then we'll just add a little more scaffolding so we can get up here a little higher. And yeah, so I kind of like to work it in veins a little bit. So the oak kind of flows this way and the jungle flows that way. So I think that looks kind of nice to do. And you just kind of a mixture of blocks here and there. And as you can see, we're just kind of filling in, getting all the details in. Now, some of these blocks we can remove, like that one. And then there's other ones we can't because we'll break through and go out to the outside. And no, thank you. I do not want the dirt. I want that. There we go. And then we can even mix it up a little bit, and we can put in a couple of these guys here and there like that. Looking good. And then we can replace that like that. And look at that. See how that all kind of flows together? I think that is going to make a really nice ceiling. And yeah, this is just kind of like everything in this particular project. It's trial and error and just feel it out. Find where it looks good, find where it doesn't. And then when you locate a spot that, you're just not 100% with, just take it out, move it around, adjust it here and there. And that's kind of how you have to do with these types of more organic, natural builds. And yeah, so I'm just going to continue to add these blocks like this, and I'll catch you in just a minute as we add the foliage. All right, and welcome back. And the ceiling's not 100% there. I'm not liking it 100%, but we're getting there. There's still quite a few little modifications we can do here and there, and that's what we'll do. So right now, what we're doing is we're adding the flooring or the platform that the roller coaster, or not roller coaster, but the minecar station kind of sits on. So as you can see inside the little trench right here, that's where the minecar track's going to go. And then right up here, as you can see where we're putting all these blocks along here, this will become the platform. Now, as we continue to add more and more blocks, we'll slowly just add more detail. Like the stumps coming down here, we'll add more of those, and we're going to add some more foliage. So add some more leaves within the interior, which I think will start to look really great. So as we continue to fill in each and every one of the little cracks in here, leaving the pit, of course, open, so that eventually, once we get the redstone down there, we'll have plenty of room and it'll look good. So yeah, continue to fill this all in. And welcome back. And as you can see, I'm slowly bringing in the bark of the trunk into here and closing it around our entrance into the station via the track here. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit of dirt down here like so, and then just bringing in some extra blocks like that, cut those in, put that one right there, and then we can sneak back over here and then put an additional one right there. And as you can see, that's kind of the basic pattern. And then you can notice little areas like this where that can be improved. You can kind of open it up, and then you realize you broke the tree, then you put it back down. There we go. And then we can do the same over here. And yeah, I think things are slowly coming together finally. It takes a while, like we talked about earlier. This is kind of like a big picture thing. You kind of have to have a vision in your head, and you just can't get discouraged when things start to look kind of ugly, because you got that vision. That vision's implanted into your brain, and you are unwavering from achieving that goal. And that's what we got right now. Some areas definitely need some improvement, but I know what I have in my mind I can accomplish here. There we go, put that across there, and we'll cut in like that, and we're running out of dirt, so that's a thing, we definitely need some more. So put that across there, and we'll bring that in there like that, and we'll clear out this piece right here, and fill that in. And over here we can, bring that up, bring this down a little bit, move that to there, and we can cut this guy out and that guy, there we go, move him up one more. Awesome, look at that, we're slowly kind of getting everything looking good. And as you can see, this is going to be the entrance and the exit. So we'll have that go down there. We'll do a really fancy doorways and all that good stuff. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna start to kind of cut this out. So we're just kind of destroying what we did, because that makes sense, right? Haha, there we go. And as you can see in these little corners, we're just gonna start to build it up like this. There we go, looking good, looking good. And then we can kind of head back over here once again, and then just bring that out, looking good over there also. And then we'll just fill this in over here. There we go. Oh, hello. We'll put that back, there we go. And then we can cut those pieces in like that. And as you can see, look at the little bits of detail starting to form in and around the areas. Look at that, I love it. There we go, sweet. All right, we'll do the same over here. And then next thing we need to do is get out some of our leaves and start just kind of poking them in and around. I think that'll look really nice. Getting those kind of hanging from the ceiling and up in the corners, I think that'll look really nice. And welcome back, and I made a few modifications on the outside. So over here, as you can see, I filled in this area with some more branches, and then I added an additional canopy layer across here, and then a root system going down. As you can see, I think that flows pretty well with our tree. So let's head into the interior. And as you can see, we have our track trench laid out and ready to go. And then of course we have our ceiling. It's starting to look pretty good. We have our leaves hanging down. And then of course we have all sorts of little built up details here and there. And then from here, you can start to add some more detail going in, and eventually we'll start to get the lighting under control so we don't have torches everywhere, but eventually we'll get that set up. And I think what we could do is, incorporate a lot of that into the leaves kind of sticking out here and there. And yeah, so for the most part, I feel like we're good for today. We have wrapped up our base trunk. We have our interior set for the redstone, and our trail is being set up for our interior and exterior entrances right over here. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching today, and hopefully you were inspired to build your very own tree, and maybe you'll put a house in there, maybe you'll put a station in there like we did today. Yeah, so your imagination is your limit, and well, my friends, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos, and if you believe the videos deserve a rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And then 3 blocks over there. All right, so let's get started. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect those across like that, and then we're gonna do, let's see, we're gonna do 2 powered rails, and then let's connect a standard rail, and we're gonna go like that. Now this block right here will become a hopper,